Jeanette Hughes works for a local council as a health development officer. Do you think people today do less exercise than in the past?
I think on the whole, generally, yes. There are a lot of people that will still do a fair amount of exercise and sport, but I think generally as a nation we do less exercise.
Why do you think that is?
Technology is probably the primary reason. You've only got to look around your house, washing machine, vacuum cleaner. We've even got something to turn the television over, haven't we? And I read an interesting piece. A woman in the 1950s doing her housework in a week would have used the same amount of calories as it would take to run a marathon. So that's sort of the general daily activity we would have had in the 1950s that isn't there now because of technology.
Anything else?
Cars. I think most people are using their cars far more than they were. So there's a whole heap of reasons on why people just generally in their daily lifestyle aren't as active as they were. So they're going to have to now look for different reasons to become active, whereas before it was just natural in your daily life.
How about young people?
Young people, while they're at school, they're still doing an awful lot of activity. I think there have been government recommendations about how much activity there should be in school, and they are doing more and more. Whereas at one time they would have done hockey, football, netball, traditional sports. They're looking at other things that children and young people enjoy. So they're doing skateboarding, they're doing different types of water sports. By finding other activities that they can do which are more pleasurable for them, they're more likely to carry on when they finish school.
Is there a difference between girls and boys?
Yeah, generally boys are more active, certainly at school anyway. They definitely do more physical activity or more sports than the girls do.
Do you think young people eat more healthily than the older generation?
Ooh, that's a really kind of difficult one to say. I think it would be mixed in different households. I think the older generation, and this is generalising, but I think the older generation would generally eat more vegetables. However, a lot of people will boil those vegetables for a long time and they will add salt, which isn't necessarily the best way to cook the vegetables, and you won't necessarily have the same amount of vitamins, whereas a younger person might eat less, but it might be cooked without salt and less boiling. So although they're having less, they might be getting more nutrition. So it's a bit of a difficult one to say, really.
Is it true that the number of people who smoke has gone down in recent years?
Yes, it is. In 1980, there was about 39% prevalence in smoking. In 2006, that had gone down to 22%. So there has been a steady decline in the smoking rates in this country.
Why do you think that is?
Lots and lots of different reasons. I think the change in legislation about smoking in enclosed public places changed a lot about perception. Whereas people felt it was okay to smoke anywhere, they're now realising actually this isn't necessarily okay. So people have sometimes changed their minds because of the legislation, and some because they just don't want to go out and get soaking wet and freezing cold standing outside the pub having a cigarette. So I think, yeah, there's lots of different reasons. It's not as cool as it was. People understand the dangers now. I think a lot of the older smokers now wouldn't have known of the dangers when they took up smoking. It wasn't so widely known, whereas now I think it is. So there's less people starting as well as people giving up.
What kind of people come to you for help to stop smoking?
We get quite a mix, actually. We get smokers and we also get non-smokers. The smokers will be from across the range. Sometimes we do get quite young people coming in saying, well, actually, they started smoking thinking it was something they could put down relatively easy and were surprised how quick they got addicted. We also get quite a lot of young people coming in who don't smoke but are concerned about their parents, and they come and ask advice about how to persuade their parents to give up smoking. Young people, while they're at school, they're still doing an awful lot of activity. They're more likely to carry on when they finish school. I think the older generation would generally eat more vegetables. Whereas people felt it was okay to smoke anywhere. They just don't want to go out and get soaking wet and freezing cold. It's not as cool as it was. People understand the dangers now.
How fit are you?
I exercise a couple times a week, so fairly fit, I think.
How fit are you?
Fairly fit. I like to cycle. I go to the gym occasionally, do yoga and the treadmill.
How fit are you?
Fairly fit. Fairly fit.
What do you do to keep fit?
Mainly dancing.
How fit are you?
I'm probably reasonably fit.
What do you do to keep fit?
I cycle a lot because I live outside of the centre, so I have to cycle in every day. And I also take dance classes, which is really fun.
How fit are you?
Not that fit, I must say.
What do you do to keep fit?
Nothing at all.
I exercise a couple times a week, so fairly fit, I think.
I go to the gym occasionally.
I'm probably reasonably fit. And I also take dance classes, which is really fun.
Nothing at all.